Uh, yeah, so we started uh, studying ourselves. This is where we are. We said, I'll study myself, I'll understand myself, okay, knowledge of myself. So when I say myself, then finally we want to get down to what does myself really mean, because we seem to be a collection of experiences and a collection of uh, different constituents elements. So one packet is in the body, which is the body and the set of things that we see in the body. But with a little bit of scrutiny, we see or we find that we have no control over our own body. It grows and it decays, and I have no control over height. I can't willfully change the shape of my nose just by willing it. I did not choose for the fact to have two eyes and so on and so forth. So the more we scrutinize that, we find that the entity that I call as myself seems to be some constant sense of awareness that's existing um, since we were born. And this is subject to a series of experiences. Some of these experiences are material in nature, okay, and some are emotional in nature. Like when I'm feeling lost, I'm indecisive, I am feeling bad, I'm feeling down under, and these are not material experiences I go through. So if you recollect from day one, we said we have these four dimensions of living, and in the external world, we are having all these material experiences. So there's some to do with the core of the body, which is food, sleep, fear, and coitus. Okay, ahar, nidra, bhai, and maithun, like having good sleep and so on and so forth. Then there are some that are sensory in nature, like the tea that we had. Gauri corrected me. It's what is it? So I realized tannin is actually a chemical in something else. Theanine. So we got a shot of theanine for those of us who had tea. But that's basically taste. But it's not just taste. It's not just the sweetness of the tea or the flavor of the tea. It seems to do something like a sugar rush when you have a lot of sugar or a sweet, or people who crave sweets. It does give you a rush, and it does some change up there in the head, in the brain. So there are experiences we have with our hands and feet when we are working with our hands and feet. So this is another set of experiences that we have. Another source of happiness. Things and objects that we own give us some sense of comfort or thrill. Like when you have a fast car, you have a comfortable motorcycle, you have a comfortable shawl. We get used to the bed we sleep on, the mattress. We get used to sleeping on a spring mattress, and then you can't sleep on this mattress, and so on and so forth. And of course, there is the experience of work and the contentment that comes from work when it is done with our hands and feet. So there is a distinct difference in the contentment that I derive from growing uh, carrots compared to planning for somebody else to grow carrots. I can have two kinds of work. One, I'm a carrot planner. I plan how people should grow carrots. And the second is I'm actually growing. You think both experiences are different or the same? They're very different. They're both called work. You can get paid for both of them. But the kind of contentment or the experience or the satisfaction that I gain from it is very different. So again, when the four uh, you know objects of the body, which is really food, sleep, fear, and coitus, are fulfilled, it is called satisfaction, and we are calling all of this pleasure. So in our attempt, it is our attempt, it is our goal to kind of open this up, to try and really explore it and see, what does human living really look like. And in that attempt, we did this very small exercise. As you can see, this was done 16 years ago. This was done live. That was done first. This came up next. Okay, and now let's look at the list. We have mental and bodily needs. Um, so we have food, we have nutrition, food, water, juices, bread. So there's food, rest, shelter, housing, medicines, oxygen, transport. Okay. Now again, is transport a bodily need, or is it a need when I need to go from A to B and I don't want to walk? Does your body need transport for survival? No. I need to go from A to B, okay, and I don't want to take the effort to walk, or sometimes it's just impossible to walk. Like if you have to walk from Delhi to Kanyakumari, it's going to take a long time. Not impossible, but it's going to take a long time. So now I need transport. So this is one that we'll just put a little tick on, a little circle on, and we'll come back to it. The reason we want to do this is twofold. One is we want to see if there is a distinction between these two, number one. And number two, if we have different kinds of needs, it will help us understand how to fulfill them. Because that's going to have a direct impact on my sense of well-being or happiness or peace. Because if there are needs that I'm not able to fulfill, that's going to cause conflict. There is a nicer word for it in Sanskrit, it's called abhav. Abhav is actually a lack, an absence. Many a times our unhappiness comes from the absence of something that we'd like to have. Like I would like to have the security of having my own house. Now that's an abhav. I'm living in a rented accommodation, but it's still not mine. Because now the house owner can ask me to leave at any time. So, asuraksha, this sense of insecurity exists. So this is why we want to kind of really investigate this. I'm just going to circle that. So we have sleep. Again, the body needs sleep very clearly. We know that the brain repairs and does all that. So we have water. Again, is good. Comfort. Does the body need comfort? Is comfort a fixed thing for everyone, or is it different for different people? It's different for different people. What's comfort for you may not be comfort for me. What's comfortably cold for you may be comfortably numb for me. I may get numb in that kind of cold. So we again just put a small line there and come back to it. A healthy body. So basically when we say a healthy body, what does it mean? Who recognizes health? Do I recognize health, or does the body recognize health? I recognize that the body is healthy. The body in turn gives me some signal that something is off. And it does that by raising the temperature of the body. It does that by giving you little aches and pains here and there, right? A little bit of stiffness. Sometimes signaling, using different ways. And we'll explore that more when we get to the topic of health. Again, we have this thing that says pleasant look. You think the body cares what it looks like? No. I care what the body looks like. It's a mental need, it's an emotional need. Okay. And I am conscious of my looks. Okay. Because I take ownership of that body. Even though I have no control over how it looks. I have no control over how it looks, and we'll get to that a little more in a while. Good nourishment, again, so adequate nourishment. To break it down nutritionally, carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, vitamins, water, the right kind of water, acidic, alkaline, and all that. Some fat. All this is needed for the body to survive. Just like plants need potassium and nitrogen. We have potassium fertilizers, nitrogen fixation for plants. So the body too needs some trace elements like manganese and magnesium and zinc and things like that. So the body too has similar needs as to plants. And when we open up existence, maybe day after tomorrow, whenever we manage to get there, we'll see that the body is very similar to how plants are as far as the basic needs for nourishment is concerned, or it's in kind of in the same line. An active lifestyle, bodily need or need of my need. Basically, it's my need. What the body basically needs is exercise. The human body needs some exercise, some movement. That's how it's built. It's built to be, expelling some energy. If you're only putting in things and not expelling it at all, not expending it at all, then trouble starts accumulating. Okay, it's like my neighbor's Doberman that's fed thrice a day and he never lets it out. Mota ho raha, it's putting on weight. And now you have dogs that are getting diabetes because the owners are feeding it cake. बचा हुआ केक सब कुत्ते को दे रहे तो होगा ही ना. He's going to put on weight, he'll get diabetes, So we'll get there. Flexibility. Again, somebody said body at ease. That basically means a flexible body, a good profession. Is that a need of the body or is it a mental need? Does your body need a profession? Is it your body that wants to be a doctor or an engineer or an educationist or a human rights lawyer or a social scientist or a social worker or a physicist? No, it doesn't care. Yeah. So this really, very clearly is a need. It's a mental need, and it's so good again. Can good be the same for everyone? It's not. It's going to vary from people to people. So that's another observation we can make. Um, Good communication. You want verbal communication? Is that a need of the body? You think my body cares whether it's who feels bad when somebody tells you I can't understand what you're saying? You think my kidney feels bad or do I feel bad? I feel bad. The gadgets are a necessity for the body. So the extension gadgets are needed, like the mic that I'm using or, some kind of telephone that you want to use from on over long distances. Okay, and we'll open that up a little more. So right now we just want to delineate these two. A good head massage. Does your head need a massage? Or do I like it when I get a head massage? Which one, the desi one or the sophisticated one? There are two. The desi massage is where the that one where they slap you up. Our brother had come from the US. He stays and he's settled in Seattle since 25 years. He said, I want a head massage. I said, which one? He said, the usual one. And I don't get that there. So he went there and, the one that comes for 120 rupees. Only 120 rupees, he'll slap you. He'll slap the daylight out of you. Sapura, Navratna Tel. And he said, I want that lal tail with menthol in it. He got it. And then now they have that little machine in it. They'll do the massage. And then he'll put his finger into your ear. He says, Sir, dalun kya? I said, dalu. He put his finger into the guy's ear and, vibrated his head off. But do you need that for the body to be healthy? Or is the feeling from the massage, the relaxation, a mental need? He comes from Kerala, so he's going to push body massages. Half of Kerala is into body massages. Ayurvedic spa. What physical and mental? Most massage things in the country are run by Mallus. They'll have oil from Arya Sala Kotakal. Rishikesh Bali. But jokes apart, is massage a necessity of the body? Maybe, may not be. So right now we'll just use perfume. बचपन में करते हैं for little kids who are born like that. Little kid, I'm sure you massage your child with oil. She does. That's for flexibility. It's needed at a particular age. So we'll put it in blue. We'll come back to it. Those who still want to keep getting the massage can get it. A good network, a good network of people. Is that a physical need or an emotional need? It's an emotional need. So we want this on that side. Okay. And then we have all this. We have these mental needs. We have emotional stability. We have happy and good relationships. There's beauty. Who wanted to be beautiful? Experience of beauty. Okay. So this is fine. And there's integrity, nurturing, intelligence, prestige, recognition. Where is our table? Yeah. Confidence, success, security. Okay. You have respect, love, knowledge, curiosity, happiness, peace. So again, Satya, Truth, Nyaya means justice. We'll get to what Dharma may mean, good mental health, and so on and so forth. Sleep is a need of the body. Yeah, because the self is intertwined with the body in a human being. The health of the body will directly reflect on the contentment quotient of the self. Satiation. So that we would put that under satiation, not pleasure. When you're sleeping out of tiredness, out of necessity, then you feel satiated. So these four, fear, ahar, nidra, bhaya, and methun, right? So there's food, there's sleep, there's fear, and coitus are actually called objectives of the heart. Hriday. These four are objectives or wishes of the Hriday. So it's really the balance between the brain and the heart. And because my experience of as a human is with the body, the states of the body will have obviously a direct impact. In fact, I'm able to witness the world via the senses. I interact with the world via the senses. I can't fulfill my behavioral dimension without the body. You can't be a husband without interacting via the body. सोच के थोड़ी होता है. You can't just think through life. That's just the intellectual part. So when you're interacting with the body, we're going to have the states of the body will impact our sense of well-being and vice versa. So that's one level that, yeah, correct. You're feeling sleepy and hungry because of an indication from the body. And then you interpret it as sleep or hunger. So whenever needed, I'm able to override it. If it's my brother's wedding, then I just stay awake through the night. If I'm playing a game of cards and I'm winning, I'm going to stay awake through the night. If I'm losing, I'm going to feel sleepy. I mean, to the extent that we can extend it, right? So the body being physical, chemical in nature has certain boundaries within which it can operate. We are able to push those boundaries, but up to certain limits. Beyond that, you cannot. Like some people are able to go, let us say, 3 minutes underwater without oxygen. They can't go 50, 20 minutes without oxygen. They'll die. And some people can probably hold it for like few seconds. So there is a boundary that the body can manage. But the state in the body is communicated to me, right? And I interpret it as, happiness or sadness.
Physical needs
माइक
and
चालू नहीं है, चालू भी करना पड़ता है. हाँ.
the, the division between physical needs and mental needs is what we are calling I.
Right now we didn't get there. There are some people who attended the workshop earlier, but for those that are not, we can see that these are two distinct set of needs. So we want to use this little finding to explore the human experience a little further. Just push a little further into the human experience to see what it is like. Alright, that's one. Now let's do another small exercise. What are the similarities of the things you see on the left, and what are the similarities of the things you see on the right? Number one, before that, is this classification kind of similar or same for all humans, or only for the people in this room? All humans. Would be fair to say it's kind of universal, yeah? Not dependent on any race, class, rich, poor. Same. एक तो ये हो गया. The second thing, What are the common attributes you see of all the things in the left compared to all the things in the right? Any ideas? These are abstract, so I'll just write it here. Abstract. When we say abstract, what does it mean? It's formless. It's tangible because when I feel bad, it's very, very tangible. It's more tangible than getting a fracture. Like when I break your heart, emotional heart, it's very tangible compared to breaking your foot. Because the broken heart is going to persist for years and years and decades and decades. नहीं जाता है. Old wounds don't heal. Physical wound heals. 6 months, 1 year, you're off. In fact, once you have the plaster, you're even playing with it. People are drawing on the plaster. But they can't do that on the broken heart. अच्छा, उसने तुमको छोड़ दिया, बहुत अच्छा हो गया. People don't do that. In fact, people are very careful. When they know we've been hurt emotionally, they totally avoid the subject. Does that happen? When you've gone through a big personal, deep personal loss, like I know somebody who's gone through a very deep personal loss, right? Due to some unfortunate circumstance. Everybody around this person just avoids the fact that this thing happened. He too. She too. We want to forget it. We want to push it under the carpet. We can't live with it. So it persists, right? So one is it's formless, it's abstract, but it's not intangible. It's formless. It doesn't have form. For instance, respect doesn't have form. The expression of respect can have some form. Like in the north, you have to touch people's feet. In Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, the 4 southern states, nobody touches your feet. You'll think something's wrong with the guy. If he comes and keeps falling at your feet, pai lagu, it doesn't happen. And when we do have to touch somebody's feet, you have to lie down on the floor. Is that also there in Kerala? You have to do dandavat, sakshtang. You have to be on all, completely on the floor. In my community, you have to do it 4 times, not once or twice. So you have to be careful, huh? 5 times, yeah. Here we have to lie down 5 times. Get a Surya Namaskar, 4 times. Like a complete Surya Namaskar. In temples, in front of Guru. So it's reserved only for some people. Not everybody deserves that. Yeah. Like I won't do it to you if I see you, or you won't do it to me, right? So it's reserved. It's a little freer up north. So when I traveled towards UP, etc., for the first time, many years ago, 20 years ago, the elderly people that I got to know would look at me expectantly, They'll keep looking at me like, then I realized he's waiting for me there. ऐसा कर रहा है. So then I would go, मुझे समझ में आता, he's waiting for me. खूब खुश रहो, he gets very happy. So the expression of respect, but is respect itself tangible or intangible? The experience of respect, the experience of not getting respect, of having been disrespected, is it tangible? It's very tangible and it's formless. What about love? Now we'll get to what love is. Love is simple and complicated at the same time, but whatever you think is love, tangible, intangible, but formless, has no form. Similarly, the sense of security, assurance. Those with children here, are you feeling assured about your kids here and there? Here you are. Would you be that way back in Bombay or Pune? In an open park where you don't know who's coming and going? You wouldn't. The first thing that we discussed when we came in, like, is she safe? I said, yeah, she should be fine. It's a religious place. This is Dharwad. One is Karnataka is generally safe. In Karnataka, Dharwad is one of the nicer places. In Dharwad, it's a religious institution. In that institution, it is away from the main center, so it's reasonably fine. So that's assurance. It's based on some data, but the experience of security, doesn't have form. When we feel insecure, alright, that too doesn't have form. Like when in the initial days when I started sharing this, when I decided that as part of my practice, at that time I wasn't very clear that it was part of my practice. I just shared it because I thought it's a useful thing to do. I just thought everybody else is doing it, so why not I also start conducting this Jivan Vidya, Shivir and all that. So this is back in 2007. And I didn't know where to begin. I didn't know what to do. I'd met Nagraji, was was the propounder, and I knew that the message itself was very vast, and people had tried to kind of simplify it. So I said, "What do I do?" So what I did was I made notes of the person that I first attended the workshop with, and I kept those notes in front of me. And every time I would steal a look at the notes. And I remember being a little nervous in sharing it because I didn't know whether I'd remember what to say next. है ना, विश्वास के बाद क्या बोलूं, सम्मान बोलना था कि स्नेह बोलना था, स्नेह में कौन सा जोक मारना था, है ना, that kind of thing, right? uh, that's actually insecurity, and it's formless, and you experience it even though what you're trying to convey is a sense of security. So when you actually experience insecurity, it's formless, but it's very intangible. So both the absence and presence of the mental or emotional needs don't have form. Okay, so that's one. And what are the differences? But it's tangible. Are the bodily needs tangible? Of course, right? So here it is sensorial and hence seems tangible. And here it's experiential. Yeah. So this is more like of an internal experience. Here the experience is sensorial in nature. Like sleep is not a sensorial emotion, but I think you get the drift. Right? It's material, it's bodily. What else? Any other distinction that you can think of? Bodily needs are quantifiable. And here, not measurable. These are qualitative. For instance, you can say, I need whatever, 3000 calories per day and maybe 25 grams of fat. But would that work for affection? You know, I'm like 10 grams short of affection today, or 25 kg short of happiness since the day I was born. Not tangible. Either it's there or not there. Sometimes there are excited states. I'm feeling very happy, but that's usually not an internal state. That's a thrill with the body. Sometimes we feel a thrill when you're meeting a very old and dear friend. So in both, you need uh, experiential contact with the external world. Like the thrill of driving a very fast motorcycle in the Sayadri Ghat, ऐसा मजा आता है. I used to ride a 500cc Enfield many years ago. I was one of the founders of the Pune Enfield Club. Till I realized it gives out too much smoke, so I stopped using it and sold it off. Yeah, anything else? Okay, continue. Okay, so these are periodic, and these are continuous. We don't want to be divorced of these emotions or the sense of well-being or security even for an instant. Meet a friend just to forget the problem that I am not able to resolve. It could be emotional, it could be intellectual, it could be the lack of confusion. Sometimes when you don't know what to do with your life, you just keep traveling. Like what I did. I mean, I didn't know what to do with my life, so you just keep traveling. So because something keeps happening and you feel you're learning something. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know where to go. So I decided to go anywhere, everywhere. We try to run away from it, but we don't get an answer. At the end of it, that stops someday, and then you have to face with the loss in direction at some point in time. Saying, I don't know what to do with my life, I don't know where to go. There's enough to eat, I don't know what else to do, or what more to do. So that's another thing. Anything else? They differ from people to people. So there are some material needs that are kind of fixed. We know that everybody needs fat, everybody needs carbohydrates, everybody needs minerals, and they have like what is called as an RDA, recommended daily allowance. RDA. My wife is a nutritionist, so I'll ask her the full form. RDA, and that's a recommended daily amount. Again, people can be low or above, but that's kind of like the general band. Alright, but how you fulfill it can obviously vary. How I go about. So the body needs shelter, protection from the cold. Like last night, there were a lot of kids who stayed on campus. The boys just slept in that hall there. They didn't have any mattresses. No gadda. That's the age. No, you can sleep anywhere. कुछ नहीं होता है. No, I'm missing my mattress. यहाँ ओढ़ने के लिए नहीं है. कुछ नहीं. They just slept there. They just slept in that thing. They just slept on that ground and walked away. They were all very happy. How many of us are missing our mattresses here? Yeah, not soft enough, not long enough, too hard, narrow, has pits in the middle. Too so. So as you grow older, these needs, kind of seem to creep up. But really, the variety in it changes from person to person. So by this very small exercise, and we're going to further this as we go on with this set of the conversation, is that we're currently not used to seeing ourselves, right, as a coexistence of this mental aspect and the material aspect. Because one is nobody has told us that. Secondly, is our experience of being is very, very closely intertwined of being the body. Whereas when we just separate the needs a little bit, we find that they're very, very distinct. Okay. When we go further, we'll also see that we need a different program, a different approach to fulfill these needs and a different approach to fulfill these needs. For instance, you get a good job. Is that going to give you affection? No. A good job is not going to give me affection. I become the richest man on the planet, that's not going to give me affection. I understand string theory, that's not going to give me affection. That's not going to happen. Yeah.
It may give you respect.
Peers and all that, yeah. But is that respect or is it recognition? Recognition is a part of mental need, yeah. But is it respect? Not exactly, right? So we have a need to be recognized. All of us want to be recognized. A small child wants to be recognized. When it's there, it keeps making some noise. My daughter tried to hover around here for a day. She came on camera and ran off. You remember that? That was her need to be a little bit in the camera online, like. So when it's uploaded to YouTube, I'll show it to her. She'll be pretty thrilled. But that's also dangerous because then she'll think she'll grow up and try to talk like this and get onto YouTube herself, which is not the point. Okay. So yeah, so that's one thing. But this experience of being a human being, right, really comprises of these two distinct experiences. And that's what we want to open up. Right? And we'll do that by looking at these four aspects. So one is we started with the different needs of the body as those of the cells and the body, or the mental needs and bodily needs. We look at the nature of the activities in the human being. So these two activities are also very different in nature. Third, we will also look at our experience of a human being as those of consisting of a mental experience and a distinct bodily experience. We will also look at our desires. Right? These were needs. But if you say, what are our desires? What do you desire? I'm sure we'll have a different and longer list. Make a list of your desires, and we'll do that. When we make a list of our desires, we'll see that it goes beyond the needs. Because needs are basic. Once you say desire, then it's going to be very long. Okay? So we're going to do these four things. So we already started with this, so let's proceed with this. So the needs of the body. So really, if you look at it, one, the mental and emotional aspect does not depend on the size, shape, color, or gender of the body or its food habits. You're vegetarian, you're eggetarian, you're on a keto diet, you're vegan, you're a dal eater. These needs stay the same. They don't change. Alright. Whereas in the body, although the basic nutritional requirements are similar, the quantum of food that we eat is different. The other interesting observation, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that when we get to health, is that no matter where our source of protein is from and what ratio we eat it in, it all seems to nourish the body in some manner. True or false? प्रोटीन दाल से मिला है ना अंडे से मिला मीट से मिला the body is able to assimilate it and use it for its own purposes. True or false? True. So irrespective of our dietary choices, the body seems to take the basic fundamental nutrients and use it for nourishment of the body. That's one observation. The second observation we can make, this mental or emotional aspect is what we are calling as aliveness or awareness. And this is what we want to really open up and explore. The body is living and it is breathing. Like if I, for let's say 10 seconds, if you just observe your breath, just 10 seconds. Okay. So, does the breathing happen on its own, or do I have to make an effort to breathe? You have to make an effort to breathe, or does it happen on its own? Is it happening on its own? Now, no. We'll run later. Right now we are sitting. First fix this one. Does the breathing happen on its own, or do you have to make an effort to breathe? Number one. Do you have to calculate? Do you have to calculate the frequency of your breath, or is it auto-calculated? You are not calculating it. You are not sitting and calculating कि अभी 45 last minute 45 seconds की breathe किया 45 times इस बार 60 beats per minute करूँगा फिर 72 beats. This is not happening. It is happening on its own. Is there an entity watching the breathing? Are you the same as your breath, or were you watching the breath? Seeing. Okay. I have the five senses. What happens when you see through the five senses? Like you watched me breathing heavily, you saw me. What did you get when you saw me breathing heavily? Through the eyes, you got some information, correct? Through the ears, you were able to hear my breath. If you come a little closer to me, you will smell my body odor, which you don't have to, okay? Okay. If you touch me, you will get to know my body temperature. And I'll stop there, right? I mean, these are the four things we do with people. The other is the sense of taste. We don't lick people to find out what they taste like. Basically, you eat food. So what are the five senses really doing? They bring us information. They bring us information about an external object, which I assimilate to form some understanding of that object. So when we say we are seeing something, even using the five senses, what is basically happening is you are getting information. For example, you have information now. There are 4 children and 3 buffaloes and 2 cows there. Correct? Wrong. When the temperature drops and you feel cold, we say, okay, this is winter. When it is not cold today, we say it's climate change. Last 2 nights, we've hardly had any cold. No? ठंड खत्म हो गया पुणे में भी ऐसे ही हो रहा है it comes and it goes there's something weird happening it comes for a few days and then it just disappears for months together so what's really happening through the five senses is we are getting information and when we say I see so one of the ways I see is through my eyes another way I see is through my nose also And I also see or watch through my mouth, through the ears, and this put together forms my see. So when you using the word see, it's only via the chashma, through the eyes. But the other senses are also bringing us information about the external world. This is one seeing. The other seeing is also of the things that I cannot see. For me, what is the information that was transmitted from me to you? Or I ask you a question. Do you want comprehensive happiness in all four aspects of your living? And the answer was yes. What information did I give you? Nothing. I gave you a stream of words. It's just a stream of words. You took the stream of words, you did some kind of reflection, and you said yes. You made a picture. Some of you made a picture. Some of you did some, maybe you recalled some memory. Some of you did some, observation right then and there. Because before coming here, let's say you came here for the first time, you probably didn't think of happiness of consisting as material and behavioral and intellectual and spiritual. Happiness was just something that was there or not there. That I could probably buy or maybe get at a bakery and so on and so forth. But then with a little bit of paying attention, we suddenly find that this notion of happiness in me has expanded. Right? So what really is happening? Did you get some sensory information? You just got words that meant something. If you didn't pay attention to the words, if you had slept off or you had switched off inside or if you're angry with me or you didn't like me, would you still get the meaning? No. If you don't like me, if you don't like the way I speak, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, the word would still reach your ear, but you would not translate into meaning. So this is another watching or understanding. So this is another understanding that we get. So there is some understanding that we get through the five senses, and there is some understanding that we get in the self or myself. Okay? So when we say I'm watching my breath, one watching is through the eyes, or I say I'm observing the breath. Alright? Now if you just you don't have to even close your eyes, because when you close your eyes, many other things also start happening. So you just avoid that. Or may happen. Even right now, let's say I say, let's pay attention to our breath. Keep your eyes open. But just bring your attention to rest on the air stream going in through your nostril and coming out. And don't try to stop it, don't try to make it fast. So you're aware of it? Are you aware that air is going into the nostril and coming out? Yeah? No. Yes. There is me, there is the nostril, there is the air coming in, it's going out. I can't see the air. The air is not visible. My lungs are not visible. But the sensation of air coming in and going out is registered by me. It's happening every moment, but I am aware of it only when I choose to pay attention to it. When I don't pay attention to it, it's still happening, but now I am somewhere else. I'm looking at the child, I'm looking at that garden, I'm thinking of something that I lost, I'm looking at the PowerPoint, I'm wondering why I came here. So I'm lost in some other, mirage or some mixture of thoughts and imagination that I have. Okay, so this breathing is actually happening by itself in the body. The body breathes. Okay, and we'll see later that if we want, we can stop the breath for some time. We can fasten it. Sometimes we can make it slow, but these are rare cases. This is when you want to do it. Maje ke liye. Just hold your breath and let it out. But then when you're actually living what I call as myself is this aliveness or awareness. And the body continues to breathe. Number one. Number two, I do not have to calculate this rate of breathing. It is done by the body itself, through some organ in the body, some part of the body, and we'll leave it at that. Clear so far? Okay. The third thing, how will this be fulfilled? So we'll come there. Yeah? So we've already seen this. Again, this was written about 16 years ago. So, there's transportation here. See, deodorant. We put a star there. Somebody said perfume. It's already there. Deodorant. I need to see whether the deodorant is a need of the body to be healthy or for me to not be perceived as being smelly. People should not think I'm smelly. Is that why I use deodorant or is it going to contribute to the health of the body? It's not contributing. He's a farmer, so he'll say that. Because he doesn't use deodorant. He's an organic farmer. But if I tell him there's organic deodorant, then he'll say it's okay. Even then, it's not needed. Yeah. Eh? Don't create any problem. And if you're a farmer, you are not going to be bothered about how you smell. You'll anyway smell. My daughter went to the Gaushala yesterday. She was smelling of the cows and she was sleeping next to us last night. And now we cat deodorant daloge. She's smelling of urine and whatever it was. Then that she picked up there. All the smells in the Gaushala get kind of. If you go to the Gaushala anytime, it's like sitting in front of a bonfire. You smell of smoke. That's what happens. So if you're a farmer, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. You can't, not that you can't enter into the office, the others will not let you enter. It's an AC room and they'll say you stink and I go out and wear something and come back. Yeah. So this is a small table. Let's see if we can fill up one each and then we'll. So these are some parameters on which we want to draw this distinction. Alright. Purpose of the need. Needs of the self and needs of the body. Any idea for the first one? Second is type of need. जो समझ में आता है उसको रख सकते हैं. The type of need. How is the need fulfilled and any similarity or dissimilarity. These are four categories. It's an empty table. The next slide hopefully should have the values filled in. Huh? Comprehensive happiness. Purpose of the need. Okay. Comp A. Comp H. PH. Okay. Need of the body is to survive. Who wants to survive? Nourishment and who has the will to survive? You have to go beyond survival. The international wants to survive. I want to have a disease free. I mean, I don't want to be, it's a mental need to have the body in a disease free state. That's one. The other is, do I want to cease to exist? How many of us want to cease to exist? Like, finish off this aliveness, awareness. I'm khatam karo. I'm done with it. How many of us want that? One is fed up of it, huh? What will be left? Yeah. Some people have been able to do that in Indian tradition, but it's very hard. Very complicated road with very low percentage of success. Santana, yeah. Ichamrityu. They give up food. They just basically starve themselves to death. Cheapest way to die. Conscious decision to finish the cell. Yeah, but what dies then? I mean, if you two are gone with the body, then that was good riddance. But what if by chance you manage to exist after the body died? Then that Santana has gone for waste. यार इतना सब कुछ किया, I didn't eat and died and damn I'm still there and the body is gone. हाँ? करते ना, इच्छा मृत्यु is called. They give up food and then austerity is one of the toughest to do amongst all the citizens in India. Okay, so let's pull it up. Let's see what we have here. Number one, purpose of the need. Why do we have the need? Or what is the need? Yeah, maybe that should be rewritten as uh, purpose of the need, or what is the need? Resolution or happiness, that includes peace, contentment, and the feeling of prosperity. Okay, who feels prosperous? Is it a mental emotion or is it a physical emotion? It's a mental experience that I'm prosperous, that I have more. Okay, the body does not keep count of your bank account or the price of your stock or whatever it is that Bitcoin or जो भी अभी पत्थर आ गया है, Ethereum and God knows what not. They're all losing money. Okay, the body doesn't keep track of that. It's the mental faculty that keeps track of that, and it's a mental faculty that feels or decides that I have more or less. All right, irrespective of how much I actually have. It's not an emotion that the body really experiences. The body's input or the body's kind of messaging to the self is basically the level of energy, all right, the level of fluids, the temperature, sometimes blood pressure, and things like that. Sometimes elevated sugar levels, and you will know because you'll feel tired after. Recently, I used to feel very sleepy after lunch. So, I was asked to get my sugar levels checked, and luckily I didn't have diabetes and all that. So that's how you come to know. So there are some signals: frequent urination, but not that you're poor, you're below poverty line, you're the richest person on the planet. ये नहीं होता है. There's no counting and there is no feeling of having more. So this does not exist in the body. The prosperity thing is a need of the self. Here, the needs of the body is really, we just need health of the body. And who wants the body to be healthy? It's a need of the self. It's a mental requirement. The type of need, this is not material and this is material in nature. Anything that the body needs has form. It is material in nature. Correct? Respect, assurance, love, appreciation of beauty, security, happiness, contentment, confidence, success, moksha, mukti, nirvana, state of thoughtlessness, state of desirelessness, be like a lotus in the water without the water touching you. All this is non-material need and need of the self. It's a mental need. It's not a physical need. It's not a material need. See, how is the need fulfilled? By understanding. I cannot eat myself into having affection. Samosa se nahi milega. Milega? Can you eat samosas to get affection? You cannot. What will I get by eating samosas? I'm going to get two things. I'm going to put some oil and carbohydrates. You're having a Punjabi samosa that has aloo and mutter in it. Because when I was in Chicago once, we went to an Ethiopian restaurant. Our friend took us to an Ethiopian restaurant, and they had a dish called the sambusa. It said veg, so I ordered it. It turned out to be a samosa. Like this. Then I realized it actually came to India from Africa, and the Punjabis put aloo and mutter into it. It's actually supposed to have meat in it. The samosa that we eat, which is called singara in Odisha and Bengal, is actually an African dish. Triangle, which is why if you come to Pune, if you go to any of the Parsi restaurants, some in Bombay and Pune, you'll still get that samosa. It's a nice isosceles triangle, and it has chopped. Nowadays, of course, they put carrots and cabbage in. Bombay, you'll find it. Irani cafes have it. They call Irani cafes. We have a few left in Bombay and Pune. All right. So sambusa, but so when you eat a sambusa or a samosa, the nutrition goes into the body, the fat and whatever it was. The sensation of having eaten the samosa, the satiation is ingrained by the self. I am hungry and I ate a samosa. So the satisfaction of khane ka, that came to the self. The enjoyment of the taste that this was a good samosa is a decision made again by the self, saying I like it. You remember these three motives we spoke of? Like, health and profit. This decision is made by the self that I like it. But if I tell you this was 500 rupees, you will not like it because it's a loss. It's not profitable anymore. It is not worth 500 rupees. But if it was free, I like it. 5 bucks, that is a very good samosa for 5 rupees. So that's how my interpretation of happiness or pleasure or satiation takes place as a mental or emotional experience. The nourishment part went to the body. Clear? The physical chemical change is happening in the body. The interpretation of that is happening in the cell based on the motive, the price, and etc. One more candidate. Alright, so that's so how is the need fulfilled? It is fulfilled by understanding. And how is the need fulfilled? By food, shelter, clothing, and resources. So it is basically fulfilled by material things. So everything that the body needs is material in nature. So I need a material input to fulfill the needs of the body. And because the needs of the self are non-material in nature, I need a non-material input to fulfill the needs of the self. Like in this workshop, what is it? It's the third day today. Is there any material input that I'm giving you? Other than the words that are reaching your eardrum? Nothing else. And the rest of the job has to be done by you. Your ears will vibrate and you have to pick up the words. You have to do the job now. Right? You have to interpret the words. You have to pay attention to the words. You have to figure out whether you agree or disagree. And so on and so forth. So that entire thing is non-material. Needs of the self are non-material and hence fulfilled by non-material things. Similarity is the same for all human beings. Here, the basic needs are similar, but the way to fulfill them varies. It's not the same. कैसा पूरा करेंगे is different. Where you're going to get your protein from, how you'll get your carbohydrates from. Is it going to be rice? Is it going to be millet? Will it be emmer wheat? Yeah? Will it be bread? Sourdough bread? Boiled rice? White rice? In Kerala they eat boiled rice. Boiled rice को हंस के साथ boil करते, very healthy. Nobody else eats it in the country. Boiled rice. Tamil Nadu, some parts eat it, boiled rice. Yeah, that side. Yeah, the border sharing it. No, but even in our village, they eat. Again, community to community, there is a difference. So how you fulfill it varies. So, but it's very similar, which is why you have global, standards for recommended dietary allowances. Again, it varies for Caucasians and, by race because based on the size of the body, etc. But this is one thing that you can see. Next set of things we want to see. Role of wealth or money. Needs of the self. Is there any role of money in the needs of the self or the mental emotional needs? These things here. Security, integrity, intelligence. It gives you some security. Okay. Some assurance. कि कल के लिए है. I have enough money for the train journey back. Somewhere we've kept it aside, Yeah, it's sitting there and the bank hasn't moved like our bank did. Is the self always? Who is secure from the bank balance? Is it the body that feels secure or I am afraid? You think your heart undergoes some palpitation? It doesn't know. How does a body know that devaluation has not taken place? Notebandi nahi ho gaya. You are sitting here and 2000 rupee notes are also gone, 500 is also gone. That can also happen. The body has nothing to do with it. It's a mental concept. We'll try and see if we have time for money. We'll have to try and see if we have time for many things. Okay. We'll try and understand what is money a little better. But very clearly, the needs of the self cannot be fulfilled by money. That's one. And we'll see what's written on the slide. Requirement in time. And Atulya, right? So said that is continuous and here it is periodic. And the enjoyment from fulfilling the need. When I understand something, does it stay with me or does it go away? Understand, not memorize. It stays with me. When I understand that women should be respected and I really believe it, then it stays with me. If I've learned that women should be respected and I wrote it in an exam, it doesn't stay with me. If I respect women because others around me are doing it, and if I don't do it, I'll be the odd man out, then also it doesn't stay with me. But if I accept it, it stays with me. If I see and understand that it is the right thing to do, then it stays with me. So understanding stays with me. This doesn't stay with me. And the nature of the need. So let's see what we have here. Cannot be bought. Yeah, so the verbiage is pretty precise. Little to no role of wealth of money. So little role rakha hai for the sense of assurance. Okay. But remember that this, what would you say would have been the answers to this chart 2000 years prior to today? आज से 2000 साल पहले, when India didn't exist, when the rupee didn't exist, but would the other answers have been the same or different? 3000 years prior to today, same. उस समय whatever the unit of exchange would have been, coins, pieces of paper. Yeah. These roles will be there. Not just this, but other than this, everything else I'm saying. The same 2000 years from now. The needs of the body and needs of emotional needs of a human being would be the same, or you think it's going to change? It will be the same. If the human body is going to be somewhat similar, if you don't keep growing larger and larger like we are, yeah, but even then the physical needs will change. You'll still need trust and respect and affection and all that. The mental or emotional needs will still be the same. Alright, so there is a small role for money, and we again, money in different, in different countries has different denominations. They have different exchange rates. They have different purchasing powers. The unit of currency is different. Alright, shares is a way to hold money, but it's really not money. In fact, nobody keeps money anymore. It's just a number in the bank. It's a guarantee by somebody that you can get the equivalent of that value when you demand it. That's what's written on the banknote. Indian banknote dekha hai? The Reserve Bank of India governor would have signed it. What is it written? I promise to pay the bearer. Abhi khol ke dekho. The sum of 100 rupees. If you have a 100 rupee note. देखिए इसमें क्या लिखा है? I promise to pay the bearer the sum of 500 rupees. It's a promissory note. It doesn't have any inherent value. It's not 500 rupees. He's promising to pay you. It's just a promise. He's promising me. Yeah, yeah. No. His promise is shifted to you. He doesn't care who the note belongs to. He just cares about who's holding the note. What he basically means is that if tomorrow this note stops, I'll give you the equivalent of 500 rupees in some form. I can give you copper coins. Sab paisa khatam ho gaya, boss. I just have these copper coins. Take them and go. He can even do. It's a promissory note. Money is a psychological concept. It plays such a big role in our lives, but it has no inherent reality. It has no inherent reality. We all saw that. They just stopped it and they can turn it on. Okay. A simple change in global policy, global economics can change your and my lifetime savings. If Trump loses his mind, we're all doomed. Yeah, if he decides to go and bomb Korea and the US start fighting, if and when, if he loses his mind, which is a big if, we don't know if or when he may not. Yeah, citizenship. So we'll come to that when we come to identity. When we talk more of identity, what really does identity mean? What does it mean to say I am so and so or so and so nation and so and so? Like what does that association really mean? And where does it reside in us? Is it a body? Is like my body Indian? Oh, तो नहीं है because then I can't get US citizenship. Her brother is a US citizen now. He has an Indian body. अमेरिकन को पता है ये इंडियन है, बोलता है अमेरिकन हूँ, नहीं है बॉस, है ना? That is racism, right? He says I'm a US citizen, but like your body is brown, you're not Indian. You eat rice at home. Okay? You don't look like us. They've learned to talk like the Americans. Everybody who went there has, managed to talk. It's difficult. That's one of the reasons I stopped going on business trips. I couldn't entertain the clients on dinner, over dinner. When you're going for a business meeting, I used to handle some whatever technology function here. And my equivalent there was director sales. I was director operations 13, 15 years ago. So when you go for dinner, you have to talk about the things that are part of their life. What do I talk about? Philosophy, Vedanta, Brahma Sutra, nothing. There's nothing in common. You have to know baseball. You have to know Republican, Democratic, politics. You have to know food, where the best wine is. I gave up after 2 weeks. I said, मैंने आ रहा हूँ. तू बोल, I'll just sit and watch. So I don't have the energy to pick up all this all over again. I can't. Okay, so nature of the need cannot be seen with the eyes, is qualitative but not quantifiable, and is weightless. Is the feeling of security weightless or does it have weight? It's weightless. Respect is weightless. Affection is weightless. When I watch my daughter playing and I like seeing what she's doing, that emotion that I'm experiencing at that instant is weightless. When I get her a frock, that has weight. But when I feel nice that she's wearing the frock that I bought her, that emotion is weightless. It has no material dimension. It is non-material in nature. Alright? So, whereas here it is visible and it is limited. The need of the body, is it limited or unlimited? Body. Limited. Need for nourishment is limited. Need for sleep is limited. You cannot extend it beyond. At the most you can sleep for 12 hours if you like sleeping. It's impossible that you'll be sleeping for 24 hours. मजा आ रहा है. You can't. You have to wake up and you will not get sleep. Even if you make up your mind to sleep through the day. Alright? In fact, once you wake up, you cannot willfully go back to sleep. Can you? I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning. I don't know why that's happening. Ever since I came here, I wake up at 4 o'clock. And we're in the room, so I don't want to wake up, the rest of the family. And so I try and go back to sleep. Then I keep hearing my daughter breathing up to like 555, her deep breathing. I just keep listening to that for about an hour. Because there's nothing to do or see. There's nothing to see on the phone. Kuch bhi nahi hai. Nobody sends me messages. I have nothing to do. It's not like I have an active social life. People are sending me messages. I have a Facebook page. There's nothing to do. So I just wait till 5, 5:10 and then get off. WhatsApp message, don't send me. It's all going to be traffic. WhatsApp traffic. Good morning. Good morning. Her father sends me a good morning every morning at about 5 o'clock, and it will be a photograph, different poses of Shiva. Somebody from the US sends it to him and he forwards it to like 50 people every morning. There'll be a Shiva and he'll be like, I'll show it to you. Dear, I'm not lying. This one I'm going to show you. Okay? So, where are you? See, he sent me a quote by Chuang Tzu. Happiness is the absence of striving for happiness. This is what I received at, I got this quote at 6:02 in the morning. Shubh Ravivar, Suprabhat. Okay? And then there will be Shiva here. There is Jai Shanidev, Jai Hanuman. This came yesterday. So I get one of these every day. Here, there is Shubh Shukravar. There is, so the different gods and goddesses on every day. I think that's what I just send a thumbs up every time. This is Krishna, right, on the chariot. Huh? Narayana Namaha. देखिए क्या क्या कोट है. A truth can walk naked but a lie always needs to be dressed. जबरदस्त है ना आदमी क्या कह रहे गणपति है ना every morning I get one. So nature of the need, in fact there was an article that I just chanced upon, but we can probably, it's okay, we don't need it, but basically this is limited because the body is limited and it is physical chemical in nature. Its needs are also physical chemical in nature, and by nature this is limited. So our needs are not unlimited. Alright. When we say our needs are unlimited, what we basically mean is the mental emotional needs are unlimited. Alright. And why does it feel then that the physical needs are unlimited? Because I can't make this distinction. I'm not making this very, very simple distinction because nobody bothered to help me make that distinction. And what happens is that I end up superimposing these continuous, non-measurable needs on the body and everything that is material. And we'll see a little more of that. We think money can be continuous because we feel that our need for continuous happiness, because I think I'm the body and hence all my needs are superimposed on the body via the body and everything material. Because our experience of being the self is so tightly associated or identified with being the body, because we've not made this distinction for whatever reason, we're not able to make the distinction, we feel that the continuous and qualitative needs of the self, the infinite needs of the self, can be fulfilled via the body. For example, I want continuous happiness, samosa party, pizza party, till the time that the body gets tired and then you say, I can't eat anymore. But because I have no other way to fulfill that, my only recourse is to come back. And it does feel good. The problem is it is severely limiting. Because out of the happiness, if you actually, make if you take a fraction, when we experience happiness here, like I said, one is Ruchi Mulak Aswadan, which is via the five senses, via something that I do or some work that I do. Alright? And then there is the happiness that comes from feeling when I behave or interact with people. And then there is also the happiness that comes from doing something purposeful. Like for example, if we inquire, you're sitting in this workshop for these 2-3 days. Does it feel good or is it feeling bad? Just feeling. It feels good. Is it of the same kind of as having good food? No. Is it the same kind as playing with a child or, meeting your grandmother? No. It's a different experience, but it is a physical experience. I mean, there is an interaction that's happening. This is called purpose-based tasting. Alright? So, in happiness, if you take happiness itself, happiness has 3 components. The first component of happiness has satiation, pleasure, alright, from things and work. So, it has 4 parts. Okay, na? So, when we eat a samosa and I say I'm becoming happy, I'm getting 1/3 of the experience that I desire in the month. There's no peace and there is no contentment. So if you add those two, it's another 5. So you have 5 levels. ये समझ में आता है? So 1/5. The rest of the 4/5 is the emptiness I have, which is why it can never be substituted. होता ही नहीं है वो. No matter how many clothes I change, how many cars I buy, how many drives I go to, how many kinds of pizza I eat. And that's not to say that that doesn't give something. It does. And periodically, one would feel like doing it based on prior experience. I mean, I have friends who cannot stand the sight of pizza. But like, क्या है ये कैसा खाते हो तुम इसको? And I've grown up in like Kanpur, Bihar. They can't understand pizza. इससे तो उत्तपम अच्छा, आप pizza कैसे खाते हो? We had a friend who we took, who's with us. We have all kinds of characters in this, people who come from the cities, from the villages, from farmers and doctors and so on and so forth. So when they come to Pune, we took them out and I said, I'll take you to Continental food. I said, क्या खाओगे? He said, दाल चावल मिलेगा क्या कहीं? So then we, had that. But really this is very preference based. We'll see that that's also based on the previous memories that we have and some tuning with the body. But really 4/5 of the experience that we seek is empty, is inherently empty. And at the level of the man, there's no English word for it. It's really 1 by 3. Which is why after eating, if I don't have good people to come back to, alright, I'm going to try and shift to something else. So after eating, I'm going to listen to music, different sensory organs. After listening to music, मैं सो जाऊंगा. इतना खाऊंगा कि नींद आ जाएगी. Eat yourself to sleep, into sleep, or drink yourself so you can sleep. इतना हो गया, then I'm going to go and try to do something. What are you going to do? My hobby. I'm going to make gajar halwa today. I'll cook. I'll make rajma chawal. I'll make chole masala. That's a great way to spend time. Cooking. Last year's Nobel laureate in economics, Abhijit Banerjee, and his French wife. Both of them shared the Nobel Prize in economics. Favorite pastime? Marsh masala. Marsh is fish. I mean, cooking various kinds of fish. That's the way he likes to spend his time. His favorite pastime is that. So we will do things. We'll repair a fan, fix the car, paint the refrigerator, do something with my hands. But it's still sensory. So within sensory, you have satiation, you have pleasure, you have things to do, work, and the pleasure from object, which is basically using a phone or, using a gadget that you like. So if you want this has become a little untidy. So I'll just write the 3 for the sensory happiness, and then maybe we'll break for today. Sources for sensory or ruchi or interest-based happiness. Okay, this is one kind of happiness. Within one kind, A is satiation from the health of the body. B, pleasure, 5 senses. Go to a mall, I got bored of seeing the experience. I saw a massage chair, उसमें बैठ गया. That thing impressed me for some time. Now I'm bored of this. I'll get up and go eat some ice cream. Right? Go get a head massage. Okay. So basically, है ना, इधर से दबाया, उधर से दबाया, मुंह में कुछ डाला, कान में कुछ डाला. क्या करेंगे ना? There's no other way to. I keep kind of basically. So you see, a lot of what we call as modern entertainment and choices is our expensive ability to do all this. That's what a mall signifies. It basically tries to keep you there for as long as it can. And usse man bharta nahi, which is why when you go to restaurants and you see married couples who've been together for a while with their family, typically they look extremely bored on the table. And usually one of them will be a little gruff and grumpy. What do you want? Why didn't you say this before? He already said, because internally he's basically lost and frustrated. So really pleasure. The third is via object. So we call it sadhan. Sadhan is utility. And the fourth is via production. Not by working in a call center. Call center में काम करने से this happiness नहीं आएगा, because you're only talking, not by making an engineering drawing. This happiness is sensory. You have to pick up the brick and put it on the bridge. And you should want to do it, not doing it because I'm getting manrega. Then also I'm not going to feel happy. ये समझ में आता है? I'm doing it because I'm going to get 300 rupees a day. Then you will be denied this, because the motive then is something else. I like doing this and I'm doing it. I'm going to like cleaning up this place. I'm going to like putting like whoever, if you are still, whoever is laying the bed, there is a satisfaction that you get that I laid the bed today, that I cleaned the house. That's that. So these are the 4 kinds of ruchi or interest-based happinesses that we experience. Again, if you look at the pleasure one, there is 5 senses. So if you total it up, it's going to be a lot. 5, 6, 7, 8 sources. Okay? So that is visible, limited, quantifiable, and has weight. The other ones, trust, respect, all the things that we put there are here, are not visible, are not quantifiable, do not have weight, and cannot come by doing this. Cannot come by doing bungee jumping, cannot come by going to the kids zone, doesn't come from that. G. So this is the summary. You can just, I don't need to read it out. Yeah.
How to understand this? Like, for example, uh, hug is a need of mental need, or like, because I see um, uh,
Hugging.
hugging.
Yeah.
So, like, it is a need of self, but it expresses through the body.
To the body. Yeah. So part of the
So,
satisfaction is by touch. So that particular emotion is getting fulfilled by also touching. So there is already emotion, but the satisfaction of the contentment, the satisfaction of expression is getting fulfilled via the cycle of touching. Okay, but that's also very contextual. For instance, people would want to hug their child, but not anybody else's child. Men don't hug each other. I mean, if you're overseas, you don't want to be seen hugging each other or holding hands. In fact, इधर भी जो मिलते हैं ना, see in the southern four states, we don't touch each other. In the north, how many of you hug your friend, the male? You reach and kaise ho, and if it came here from Arabia, that was a form of greeting there. If it was in France, you know kiss in the air. That also became a recent this thing, no? वो थोड़ा angle of attack अलग हो गया. I mean, the French president and Trump's wife, when they met and they tried to do this, वो थोड़ा angle टेढ़ा हो गया. It was all over the news saying there is some Gucci here. Yeah. So so very contextual. We would do it for our child, maybe not for every child. Uh, Again, men and women in Indian culture will not hug. If you are born in Bangalore, yeah, but for how long? You better let go, hug, and then separate. Don't be stuck. So they're very contextual, not a definite need. So it's very uh, really what you're used to from the body. It's like a physical thing you're used to. It's like some people, like for example, when I'm sleeping at night, even if it is warm, I want a very thin sheet over myself, even if it's very warm. So I have to get the thinnest sheet possible for summer. So this is something that you get used to with the body. It's like the sugar level in coffee. The body is not going to get less or more nourishment. In fact, the body doesn't need coffee or sugar. You just got used to it. And as long as it's within the tolerable limits, it's not a big deal. As long as you're not falling sick, not going to the doctor because of it, not getting diabetes. Coffee has its health benefits. We had black, which I don't. I have it in milk because I got used to it since childhood. It's something like that. So this hugging thing is also there. Because when I grew up in Pune, we would not hug each other. The Indian greeting is actually namaste, dur se. Because you don't know whether the guy has had a bath who he touched before this. Why would you want to go and hug him? अब नया नया कुछ नहीं पता नहीं किसको छुआ क्या छुआछूत भी था ना. There's also untouchability in the country. You don't know who the fellow touched before this. You get an untouchability cycle. So just dur se namaste. In the southern four states, it's namaskara. Nobody hugs. Friends में नहीं करते हैं. गो टू राजस्थान, उत्तर प्रदेश, पंजाब, पैटिंग भी नहीं है. ये सब नया है अभी. यस ब्रो, नो ब्रो, और ये भी नया चल रहा है. ब्रो चल रहा है इधर. In Bangalore, Pune, everybody is doing bro. It came from the African Americans in the US. Brother से bro हो गया. वो brother बोलते एक दूसरे को ना, नहीं? What is the uh, whatever politically right term for it? I mean, the right term is African American or just African American? The white European American. European Americans, red Americans, वो भी है. कलर में भी जाएंगे. See, white and black. Nobody is white. Nobody can be white. Your text, your notebook is white. They're all pink, cream. So there are creams, there are browns, and there are dark skinned people. The color of the skin. There's nothing as white and black. ये सब कल्चरल नाम आ गया. We took some natural color and put in. Nothing in nature is white. What is white? Very difficult to see a white in nature. किधर दिखता है? Very difficult. It's a limestone है ना, राख के पुताई किया है. In nature, naturally, if you go onto the field, where will you see white? Very difficult. So if you see a quartz crystal, that's also kind of transparent. We sometimes see white sand in the Ganga, which we saw near Gangotri. Very beautiful. White sand. Crystalline white sand with mica and that's why the color is blue when the Ganga flows. Before it reaches Rishikesh and everybody starts jumping into it. Bluish, turquoise blue. Okay. So the hugging thing is very much something that we are used to. Also what we've seen since childhood and family. Like I find that I keep touching and hugging my daughter. Alright. And she tries to keep running away nowadays. And my wife keeps reminding me that she's growing up and you should stop doing it. I said, look, it's still many years before she's going to, one is I'm her father. Second is she's nowhere close to puberty. Girls get a little shy, with the onset of puberty. They don't want to be touched. Sometimes it's also very irritating for them and so on. But it occurred to me that my mother would do that to me a lot. And my grandmother would do that to me. So I just got used to it. My father wouldn't touch us with a pole. He's not touched me with even a stick. I mean, he's used a stick on me. He never touched me with a stick. I've been sticked. I've been slippered. I've been jhadued. Okay. I recognized objects by a different mechanism. My learning were all different. I mean, because that's how he grew up. That's how his father raised him. Body se self ko raise kiya, When you want to correct the self, you create vibrations in the body. That's the theory that they use. Vibrate the body and, Okay?
Which is a need of self, right? And that is an expression.
So it's a very close, like I said. So it's not necessary that you have to touch. I know people who are very affectionate who don't want to be touched and who do not touch. It's not an inherent need. That's what I'm trying to say. It's something that he got used to. It's a kind of a sensation that the man has got used to with the body, basically with the brain.
Whether it is sex or any kind of, it comes.
Sex is different. Sex is trying to fulfill, basically it's actually trying to satiate or normalize an excited state in the heart. It's called andolan, agitation actually. So the word is, I was trying to convert the Hindi into English. It's called agitation. So the hormonal changes in us causes a particular kind of agitation which has an impact on the heart. And if it is if it is to fulfill that agitation, is when the sexual act is for the sake of fulfillment of that agitation. Once you do it, उसमें जो pleasure आया, now one is repeating it not for the satiation but for the sensory pleasure. No longer for the satiation. Then sex has become mental. That's how you get that 52, 100, 120 body count in the US. Body count. I didn't know of it. I just enlightened them like yesterday. I too didn't know of it. I saw it in YouTube and I was surprised. Washington has an average body count of 52. 52. Permissible body count before marriage is 19. That's not for satiation. That's this. वो इधर आ गया है. Yeah. I'm just saying it's not compulsory. It's not a need. There are people who can do it without hugging. Yeah, and also after you hug, how long will you keep hugging for? That also changes. No, the preference that there are some people who ऐसा लपेट लेते हैं and then don't let go of it, and you're like trying to get off, saying enough. I'm good. I got the message. Now go. चिपको आंदोलन. I've seen it happen, and initially I thought there's something wrong with me. And then I decided there's nothing wrong with me. I don't like that. I don't like to be hugged so much. I saw you. I'm feeling a lot of affection. I just like you where you are. Just stay there. So that's a very personal. So that's what I'm saying. It's the hugging thing can be done, but again, men and women. So we've known each other for what, 7 years? We've not hugged even once. We don't need to. So, but there is only one other female I can think of in my circle of the people I know, because that's also both of us come from very similar background. Modernity ka hai ye, hugging. Thoda sa. But the way men hug and women hug are also different. Women will just put their arm around you and let you be. Men will hug aisa thot team, aisa thot wo sab marta hai. You don't need all that. Not necessarily. It's not a necessity of the self. What I'm trying to tell you is it's something that you get used to with the body. It's like holding hands while walking. I mean, I was going up for a walk up my hill. I saw a 50-year-old couple holding their hands and walking. मोटरसाइकिल पड़ते हैं विनोद खन्ना अमिताभ बच्चन है ना बट वो सब नया है योर ग्रैंडफादर होल्ड योर ग्रैंडमदर्स हैंड यू वुड हैव बीन चेज्ड आउट ऑफ द विलेज भगा देते उसको नहीं what are they doing? I mean, they're 55 years old holding hands and walking in. There's something wrong with them. They would have been taken to the local this ashram and say, Swamiji, kuch bolo inko, hai na? It's very also very time contextual. Okay? Who will touch and so we'll just quickly close for today. So again, quick summary: non-material nature, material, basic needs are similar, varies, cannot be bought with money, can be bought with money, cannot be seen with the naked eye, can be seen with the eye because it has form, does not have weight, has weight, always need them periodically, qualitative, quantitative. Hence, I need a different program for both. I need a weightless, moneyless, formless program to fulfill this. Okay? And I need a weightful, formful, moneyed program to fulfill this. This is why education cannot be sold. नहीं कैसा बेचोगे भैया फॉर्म ही नहीं है टुकड़ा नहीं कर सकते अंडरस्टैंडिंग को टुकड़ा कर सकते हैं टुकड़ा नहीं होता है कैसे टुकड़ा करोगे फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री बायोलॉजी टुकड़ा कर दिया सब्जेक्ट टुकड़ा हो गया नेचर में तो साथ में है ना इट्स टुगेदर इन नेचर फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री बायोलॉजी mathematics all occur together in nature. It's one integrated whole. You cannot separate it. That's why you cannot sell it. That's why this workshop cannot be sold. I can't do it for money. I mean, if I'm doing it for money, then this is not going to happen. Okay? So, we again question, does it change with time, religion, caste, creed, nationality? The answer is no. It's the same for every human being. So, we will use this also not just to understand ourselves, but also to understand the similarity between us as human beings. What makes us human? What makes us similar? What makes us different and why we are different? Alright, so that I think that should be hopefully the last slide. Very good. Congratulations. We lost the we can all go home now. So we'll come back tomorrow. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Same. So all of tomorrow is going to be activities. So you can come back. No theory. Okay.